Hey everyone, Nigel here with you, Nigel's on the bench. Welcome back to the channel. Part 10 now of the build of this beautiful new Sea King kit from Airfix. So we really are getting there now. So when I left you at the end of part 9, I was going to grind Mr. Surfacer. I've done that, removed all that extra tape I put on. So you can see now we've got like bits of Mr. Surfacer. I'm not too worried about this here because this gets covered with the air filter going on there. But all around the sides and everything I wanted nice. I had a little step there, so I've just gently sanded that out. Everywhere else it's been really nice. I've got a bit of a step going on there, so I've gently sanded that down just to reduce it a bit, but I think once the air filter goes on it won't sort of show too much. But if it does, we can always do some work on it afterwards and remask it and paint it again, but we will see how it goes. I think, to be honest, if anything, I've got the upper clear part, I think I've got it slightly off to the left, to the left, to this way. But it could be the way it's gone together, I don't know, but it's absolutely fine. But I know now if I was building another one to make sure I keep an eye on that radius there being constant all the way around. But I mean, I haven't had any problems with fit at the front or anything, so I can only assume that that's what the issue was. If you remember, we had the windscreen lifted in this corner, we had to press it back in, which would indicate I had the canopy like that. So maybe it's just slightly distorted after moulding or something, I don't know, but I mean we are talking literally, I mean it's nothing, it's absolutely nothing, so I'm not going to worry about that. So obviously got the holes blocked off to keep the dust out of there now, as I have had for the last quite a few parts. I've just test fitted these side windows, so we've done all the, oh, just want to talk about this as well. If you are glazing this yourself, this here, the distance between this point here and this point here, the vertical wiper blade, is exactly 10mm. So if you've got 10mm Tamiya tape, put that in there, it's perfect. You just got to trim the bottom and the top. So that's worked really well. I've just noticed I've got a bit of area there showing to the side of the wiper blade, whereas that side I don't. So I'm going to put a slightly wider piece of tape in there just to cover that up. But the little nubbins at the top are exposed as well. So when we paint all this, we'll be painting all the wiper blades and everything as well. So that's all good. So yeah, the next part of the instructions, we're very near the back now. Here we go. So we fitted all the clear parts. We've got to go and build, we're doing this one here because we're doing version C, so it's just 2 parts for the air filter. I'm not going to put that on until everything's painted. Obviously it's going to cover up this area here that's already masked. So we'll put it on after it's painted. And we've got these side windows going in. So for all versions, we've got X16 going in here, which is flat. And for my version, we've got the bulged window, the ballooned window is going in that side. I've been looking at pictures of the real thing, and it would appear that that window and that window are smoked, just like the top is here. The actual window that goes in the main door isn't. So I think what I'm going to do is do those in smoke. So I've got them off. I've put some masking tape on the back of them just to protect the back sides. So I'm going to paint those now with some of that LP67 smoke. And that should come out nice. I've cleaned them off with some leveling thinners so they're completely grease free. I haven't touched them since, so we should get a nice finish on them. And I've test fitted them, and the fit is absolutely gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is glue them in. I'm going to paint them, let them dry, glue them in, do the Mr. Surfacer around the edge, and then I'm going to see if I can mask them with liquid film, because particularly the one with the bulge on is going to be very, very difficult to mask because you're trying to go over that bulge. So I'm going to see if I can mask them with liquid film. We'll see how we get on with that. I'll do it on camera and see how it goes. So anyway, I'm going to go and paint those now, and I'll be back to do something else when we're ready. That's them done. So they're all good. A couple of little specks of dust in that one, but not to worry. You're not really going to see it from the inside. So here we have the parts for the air intake, for the air filter. And as you can see, these fit together beautifully. They just go in like that. That's going to sit inside there, like so. Just like that. Now, we're going to have some filling work to do here, so it's lucky that we don't need this until the end. So I'll grab some of my extra thin. I think what I'll do is just glue it from the inside. Let the capillary reaction take that around. And then what we'll do, we will fill the seam all around here with some black VMS thin super glue. And that will have the effect of filling it and gluing it together, so that will work quite well. So there we are. I'm just going to put some along there. There we go. So we'll let that dry. Story of my life, and then we'll get on with doing some filling on that. Right, moving along, we've got to fit those side windows in. They're not dry yet, so I'm not doing that. And then moving on here, make sure you've got the right section, and then we can start looking at some of these greeblies. Now obviously there's some parts that you don't want to be fitting yet, such as like these little tiny mirrors that are going to be sticking out from there. They're going to get snapped off. This antenna back here, that's going to get snapped off. That's going to get snapped off. These little handles will be okay. Once that window's in, we'll glue them in. Like antenna like that, that's going to get snapped off. Got this clear piece going on here. So what I'm going to do now, and this is a tip for the newer modelers out there, is go around and just put a red dot by the parts I'm not fitting now. So there's that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. I will fit them. I won't fit that, I don't think. Yeah, more. Where is the G sprue? Here is the G sprue, and there is G22 there. So that's going to be quite, yeah, I think I'll put that on just before we start painting. So I'm not going to fit that yet. I'm not putting X19 in yet. I'm not fitting D19, and I'm not fitting D19 there. We will put B18 on, we will put those blocks on there. I think I'll leave those handles until the window's in, because they might get in the way of masking and stuff. So we'll leave them out. We'll fit those. We'll fit all this. We won't fit that one there. We won't fit that one there. We'll fit those two. We won't fit that clear part. We won't fit that clear part. We won't fit that because that's going to get broken off. That's going to get broken off, that's going to get broken off. They will all get broken off. So as you can see, we're not really doing a lot of this, but we're just putting bits on that won't get broken off. D20 is, oh sorry, D20, that's A. D sprue is practically complete. It's the last complete sprue in here. So D20 is there, and that's going, where's that going in that little recess in there, so that'll be okay, we'll put that in. So there we go. So we've gone around and marked all the parts we're not going to fit. I'm not going to fit F9, I don't think. That's in my little tray here. I think that's going to get broken off, isn't it? It's going to go that way up. It's going to fit under the door there. There must be a couple of holes there, are there? Yes. That's going to fit there. I think that'll be okay, so we'll put that on. So there we go. So I've got to get all these parts off the tree now and get them cleaned up. That part there has got some massive sprue connection points on it on the bottom. So we'll get those off, and we'll just grab a sanding stick and sand that all level. Just like so. I need to get a new stick out. This one's losing all its grit. What is a sanding stick when it's lost its grit? It's a stick. There we go. And there we are. That's cleaned up, ready to go on. So I'm going to get these parts off the sprue. I'll get some of them off the sprue anyway, and then we'll carry on. I'm not putting that on either. That's going to be sticking out. So there we go. Right, see you in a minute. Alright, so we've got all the parts off and they're all cleaned up. And what I've done is put them, because these boxes all look very similar, G1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I've put them actually over the positions where they are in the instructions, so we shouldn't get them mixed up. We've also got this piece here, B18, going to go on, and I've got a couple of little bits of greeblies at the bottom of the box there. We're going to fit them as well. So let's go start with G1, and as you can see, this is just going to fit over that lug there, and it fits much better if you put it on the right way round. If you put it on the right way up, it fits better than if you do it wrong. So that's going to go on there, so that's a really nice fit. So I think what we're going to do is put these on, and then we'll go around with Mr. Surfacer. So what I'm going to do is just put some extra thin in from underneath, just like so. And that'll capillary around. Perhaps we could just put a drop in across there as well. And then just put a line around there. And then some from underneath. They fit beautifully, absolutely beautifully. The compound curve they've got in there. I don't think we even need Mr. Surfacer, it's that good. It's absolutely stunning. So right, I love lumps and bumps. Okay, so where's number 3? Number 3 is over here, and that is going to go into the back here where we've made some holes. So it's going to go, which way up is it going? Is it going that way, looking that way, or is it going that way? It's hard to tell which way it goes. There's no detail on here to show any. You see on the fronts they have these round protrusions, but there's nothing on here to show which way that goes. I'm sure it goes that way, and it would appear that the pins are too big for those holes, so I'm going to get a 1.2mm drill and open those holes up a touch. These bloody awful drills. There we go. Oops. So it certainly doesn't look like it's going that way. That fits now. It's still, what it is, the pins are moulded on an angle. So what's happening is I've drilled the holes perpendicular to the surface of the model, but the actual pins are moulded sort of square to the perpendicular to the centre line. So that was it there, wasn't it? Yeah. There we go. So just sort of stretch those holes a bit, and I'm sure that's right because that one's going to be looking forward. Yeah. Yeah. These are obviously some sort of radar things. I think we'll just put a line across the top as well. There we go. So that's that one in, and then we've got D6 there. Then we've got number 4. Where's 4? 4 is up here. So 4 is going to be the same thing on the other side. So again, we've got the same problem with the holes. So we'll get our 1.2mm drill, drill it out, making sure we don't go through to the other side, and push that other part out. And then I'm just going to, oh no, this way, isn't it? Make them elongate the holes so they're perpendicular to the centre line rather than perpendicular to the surface. And there we are, that's gone in beautifully. Put some cement across the top there, just push that back in. So that's those two on, you can see them looking back there. Pretty cool. Right, and then we've got 5, which is going here, and that one's going to be looking forward, I guess. I wish Airfix would put the the pattern on it so you can show which way it goes, or at least a detailed picture of how it should go. Again, these holes need opening. So remember, we drilled these 1.1. So I assume that's how that goes. It's very difficult to tell. You see, it kind of fits either way as well. It's a bit annoying. I assume it goes that way. If it's wrong, it's bloody wrong. I'll see what else I'm going to do before I do any of that. I'm going to remove some paint, because that Mr. Surfacer might be quite thick in that area. I'm just going to remove some Mr. Surfacer. So we're back to the plastic. 400 grit. Yeah, I was right, the Mr. Surfacer, there's like 2 layers there, so just sand that out and then blend it with a sponge. There we go. And now when we put this one on, we can see we're gluing to plastic rather than... I'm going to put some glue in the hole because it's the pins and the holes that are making it not fit. So if we put some glue in there, it'll kind of act almost like a lubricant and help it stay together. So we'll run some cement underneath there. Frog in the throat again. And I'm not going to run any over the top because we've got those rivets right next to it. So we can run some down there, drop down there. Right, so that's that done. So that's 4 or 5. Now we've got 6. So 6 is going to go over here. And this once again is going to do exactly the same thing. So that is going... That one's pulled away. Be careful here because I do not want glue oozing out. I'm hoping this is right. I don't know if it's right or wrong. These instructions are not good in this area. It looks like the back end is longer than the front end, so that's sort of there. But, could have been better in that little area, please, Airfix. So we've got the short end at the front, long end at the back. And again, we need to open up these holes. Remember, we've got a panel just inside there, so make sure you don't draw through the panel. So that's going like that, is it? Yep. So that fits lovely now. So once again, I'm going to remove some paint. What I did, I put light grey Mr. Surfacer on there, or even MRP light grey, I can't remember now. And then I just put the darker grey over it just to sort of make it look better for the show. And I took this to the Avon show a couple of weeks ago. And if you were there, you probably saw it. So we'll get some glue into those holes. Get some glue into those holes. And then block this on like so. That's a lovely fit. Get some glue into it there. If I could get some bloody glue on the brush, please. God. Right. I think I might have to clamp those because that one keeps pulling away. I might just stick a Rebel Hobby clamp from Sweden. These come from Rebel Hobby in Sweden. There we go, they're not going to go anywhere now. Right, probably get a bit of oozage out of that one now. So that's that on, and then that's all of them done. Right, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, so that's all of those done. We've got a big part to go on there, B18, obviously that's in the way. Underneath here we've got these little parts here, D36. There's 2 of those going in. So let's get those drills away, otherwise I'm going to ruin my model. Tweezers. There's 1, there's 2. There's little D36 parts. Just throw one across the room, why don't you? And they're going to literally drop into those holes there, and they are a perfect fit. So they're going to drop in there. Oh, come on. Where'd that go? There it is. Okay, so that's going to drop in. That doesn't want to go in, that one. Okay, they've got a bit of a surround around them, that's okay. So get some cement into there. And we'll get some cement into there. Give a little nudge. Just square them up. Ooh, that one's wanting to come out. God, that must be really troublesome. This side just fell in and glued all right. This side's playing me up. Bloody thing. Right, so that's them done. We've also got this little piece here, G19, which is going to go into that hole there, and it's just going to fill in that hole, I guess. So I might need to do some repair work in there. Looks like it's going to be a very good fit, which is great, and it does go in that way because we've got a sink mark in the back, or an ejector pin mark, should I say. It wants to go in dead square. There we are. Yeah, and it's a bit sub-flush, so it's not perfect. So I'm going to see if I can lever it up a bit with the knife. I'd rather have it raised than sub-flush because it makes it easier to repair. So put some cement in there. That'll capillary around. Just going to raise it a bit more on this end. Drop a Mr. Surfacer in there and that'll be done. We'll sand that out, that'll be lovely. It seems to be pulling itself in with that cement. Come out. There we go. Right, so that's there. So let's just start crossing some of these off so that we know what we've done. We've done that one, we've done that one. We've done that one, that one, that one, that one, that one and that one. Now we've got this little G19, we've done that one, we've got this little piece here, D20, which is a tiny little round bit here. And that is going to go into a hole in there. So we'll get some cement in there just to get it going. I can get some bloody cement on the brush, come on! So that's gone, I'm going to give that a turn. So that's gone in there. So that's that one done. There's nothing else here. We're going to fit, we've got that step to go on. I don't think I'm going to fit that right away because we're going to be sanding that flat there. So I'm going to leave that off. Take back over there. So we'll let this all dry. Once I can get that clamp off, I can go on and fit the this part here, B18, and that's going to be it until we're ready to paint. And then when we're ready to start thinking about cleaning it up, priming, painting, then we'll start looking at putting greeblies on. But even then, stuff like these pitot tubes, quite possibly the mirrors, I'll leave off until the end, because you know, even just when you're painting it, they're going to get broken off. So, right. Sorry if that was a little bit of a boring segment, but I wanted to show you it all going together. Obviously I'm not fitting any of these antennae yet until I've got the undercarriage on, so they're just going to get broken off. Same like for that piece there, D16. So I'll see you back in a minute. Right, so we are back. In the last video, last segment, we put all these bits and pieces of Reblees on, didn't we? And also painted these windows. So as you can see, this window here, tinted with the bubble in it, so that's looking nice. I'm just checking the curvature. It looks like it's pretty much consistent, so it's going to go on either way. So there we go there. So that's gone in there, and that's a lovely, lovely fit. It's a very nice fit indeed. So a little drop of extra thin, let's get that one out of the way. A little drop of extra thin on the brush, and I'm going to come into it from the outside and just let the capillary in. That way we don't get any glue on the glazing. In from the outside and let it capillary in. There we go. Right. I've got to left those hooks off now because they might have impeded fitting that in there. So that's that one in. You can see it's nicely tinted. So around the other side, we've got this one here to go in. Now this one here is a bit weird. If you look at this one, it's all good, it's all clean. This one here, it must have had stress marks in the sprue because I did exactly the same. I left about 1 millimetre of sprue nib on there and then filed it down. But it's got the stress marks. You can see the white marks on the edges there. So be very, very careful. It's obviously a very brittle, clear plastic that Airfix have used. It's lovely and clear, but it's obviously brittle. So be very careful. Hopefully the paint will hide that because it's only on the very edge. So I'm kind of hoping that the paint will hide that. I just want to make sure the inside is dust and fluff and grease free. And then we can drop that onto there, just like so. There's a piece of fluff on it, so okay, it's on the outside. So that's all looking good. And then again, we can come with the extra thin into the corner. If you notice, I'm going onto the plastic and then moving over to the clear. In there like that. And in like that. I'm just going to do this bottom again because I'm not sure it went in. It's such a lovely fit, it's difficult to see if it's gone in. Just push that in. And there we go, that's that one fitted as well. So we've got all our glazing done now. So we're kind of ready, we're getting to the point where we can start thinking about painting this. I need to look as well at these sponsors. I've done the air filter, by the way. I've done the filled it all around there with super glue and then sanded it all out. That's just going to sit on there like that. Obviously I'm going to fit that after it's all painted because not only does it go over the clear parts, but it's going to cover the intakes and I want to get in there and be able to paint them and everything. So I think what we'll do is paint it all and then I'll get in brush of silver paint in there and then we'll plop that on with some white glue. Perhaps put some glue on that edge there or something, just stick it down. See the tape there is stopping it going back, but it does actually sit very nicely, just like so. I assume it's just a box that's bolted on, so we're not looking at seamless joints and that. It's just going to be slung on there like that. There we are. Don't like it at all, really. I don't like the look of it. I'd rather see it like that, but for accuracy, we'll fit it. I'm going to give it a cut of Mr. Servicer as well and blend out all those sanding marks, so that'll all look lovely. It may even be a piece of fiberglass, of course, looking at it. So we'll get the box open and we've got these sponsons, and I was talking about spraying these actually off the model, but I'm looking now, I wonder if I can actually get them. It's going to be very difficult, you see, to get down in there and paint them. So I am going to paint them off the model and then mask them off and then paint and then fit them, deal with this seam around here and then go from there. So we shall see. Right, what's going to be next? Right, so I fitted these clear panels here. I went around them first with a black marker to get away from that chromy silvery edge on those. If you wonder why I didn't do it on these, it's because I painted the edges with the grey paint, the smoke paint, so that's why I didn't do it on them. Same on this one, gone round with the black pen. And obviously this one doesn't matter, because even if it's closed, well, if you're having it closed and you're looking from the inside, you might want to paint it and make it grey or something. But basically, if you're having the door open, it's going to be up here. You're not going to see inside there anyway, so don't worry about the inside of that one. This one, however, this one's going to be sat sort of like that, open there, so you're going to see inside. So what I'm going to do is make a mask to fit the outside, and I'm going to take that mask and put it on the inside, and then I'll go around with some Mr. Surfacer and get rid of that seam around there. So that'll look a lot nicer. On here, kind of ejector pin marks in there on the back of this door, which can be seen through the steps. There's also a lot of cleanup on these steps, and I've just noticed there's even more cleanup required. On the inside, there's mould seam all the way around the outside, and there's also, I can see, a mould seam on the inside, so we're going to get rid of that as well, because it's very unsightly, especially when you start putting washers in and stuff. So there we go, get rid of those horrible seams in there. So there we are. So we'll go over that with a stiff brush or something and just get rid of those bits of plastic, and then we can get that glued on. I can get rid of these. There's a seam under there as well. There's seams on all these steps here. It's well worth getting rid of them. There we go. So I'm going to carry on playing with that, and then I'll come back when I'm done. I'm going to get in there with my Infini PE sanding stick here. There we go. Get that cleaned up. So I'll see you in a minute. Alright, so that's cleaned up. So we're going to put the steps. I'll make sure they go the right way up. This is the top, remember, because the door opens like that. So this is the top, so make sure you get it the right way up. You can actually put it upside down, it will fit, so be very, very careful. So that's going like that. Okay, so that's that on. I'm going to peg this. I'm going to peg this and then glue it, because I don't want any oozage. And then what we'll do, we'll paint the whole thing grey. I think what I'll do is paint the whole thing silver, and then do the hairspray, and we'll chip it up a bit. So see, this trouble, these bloody pegs are going to move around. There's a little bulldog clamp. I think that'd be better for this. Yeah, that's much better. So we can put some cement in there. We can put some in there. We'll get some up in there and up in there. There we go. There we are, that's that together. Right. So, I haven't done the tail wheel yet. Obviously that's going to be a very breakable piece, so that'll go in last. Looking at all of this, obviously I'm not doing the undercarriage until I've painted the sponsons. We've done the air filter, we've done the glazing, we've got some lights to go in the bottom of there. They'll go in after painting, I think. Unless, of course, we'll have a look at those parts. If they are a square lump with a round light in them, where's number 4? Indeed they are. Hang on. I can't quite see what's going on here. Where's my glass? Very strange. It's a sort of semi-triangular piece of plastic with a circular cutout in the back. So is that supposed to be a round light, or is that supposed to be a complete light? I'm not sure at all. Let's put this away. We'll have a look at our colour callouts and see what they show. See, they're not showing anything there at all. It's very strange. It's like it's not a light at all. Maybe it's only a light on version A or something. Nope, nothing at all. So, not quite sure what to do there. I guess we just put them in and then we'll find out afterwards, and if we do, we'll put a mask on them. Let's get them off the sprue then. Okay, so get those out of the way. Those lights that are fitted under there, I've basically just blended them in so they're like a panel filler now. If there's lights there, I can scratch them off, paint them, whatever. There's a light there, I don't know why they have a light there as well. So that's that done. I've also sanded these leading edges and riveted them. So that's done. I've run the riveter around them to get the riveting to continue around the leading edge. It always looks nice on your aircraft or whatever. So they're sort of pretty much ready for priming and painting. As I say, these are red. Let's grab my colour callouts. The wrong letter one. Unprepared as usual. So they're actually red on the ends. They're all around, and they're grey. The actual wheelbase are grey. So I really want to paint them red. The actual sort of the winglet, if you like, the top is red, the bottom is grey by the look of it. So so there we go. I'm going to. So what I'm going to do is paint these red, and then mask them off. And I will probably put like a light feather. I'll probably paint this as well, actually, and mask that off at the same time. And then we won't have any edges to worry about going over the second time. So that's what I'm going to do, and then what I'll do is mask off around here. I have a nice sharp edge there, and we'll put that in grey. So that will be that. In fact, what I might even do is spray this grey first, and then mask it off, do the red, and then sort of do a sort of half mask, half cover up job, and then just blend the grey paint in here. But we shall see when we get there. We're a little way off that yet, I think. Obviously, as I say, getting those on there and then trying to paint them is going to be, trying to get the paint down in there, I think it's going to be fairly difficult. Yeah, especially as I'm going to be using the gloss paint. I think I'm going to use LP 50, which is, it's called bright red. If you look at ordinary red, it's very red, but if you look at this bright red, it's sort of more orangey. I think it's more appropriate for this colour. They've also got the Italian red, which is sort of darker. I don't really like that one so much. I think I might go for this one, LP50, for a red. I haven't decided on what colour to use for the grey yet, because I don't have the Humbrol that they're asking for. They're asking for 165. But I'll look this one up, see what it is in the Tamiya range. So we've got our blades to do. Now it's saying here one upper and lower is yellow. There have been a few different reasons why that would be yellow, and the one that seems to make the most sense is that's the non-moved one. So they turn the rotor head so that the blade is facing back, because apparently it's all done automatically from inside the cockpit. I didn't know that. So so that's that. Right, talking about rotors, I think that's where we're going to go next, because I've painted all these little bits silver. These are our lights that are going to go underneath. So I've painted all them. We've got our door there held together. I've masked off the glazing in here, and I've masked off that side as well. So we'll go around there with some Mr. Surfacer and get rid of that seam on there. So we'll do that in a minute. I've also masked this door here, window, and I've also put some black super glue was the word I'm looking for, over that panel there, which is just a fill-in, so we'll sand that. If I built another one of these, I would do that while the fuselage was still in halves, because it's a lot easier to have it down on the bench and sand it rather than on a finished article. I should have left that off actually to do that. I should have done that. But I've got this old bit of floory skinny stick, and I can just come in here and sand. We've got some raised detail down below here, so we've got to be careful of that. I can just sand this. I want to try and cover up the interior as much as I can. So we can just sand that out. We've got to be careful not to lose any rivet detail behind that doorway. So I think we're getting there. I can finish that off camera anyway and see what it looks like under some primer. But all I did there was use the glue applicator, put a drop of glue in the middle of the panel, and then just pushed it around. So it went to the edges and filled the gaps. So that way we've got the gaps filled and we haven't blocked up any of our rivets. So that's cool. So that's one way to go. Right. So that's that. Yeah, all those rivets are going to be fine. I'll just grab the airbrush. Just blow out sanding dust from the rivets, just like so, and that's that done. Another invisible refill, but there's quite a few of those little panels on here that are like that. I've masked this window here. As you can see, I put a piece of 6mm tape in the middle, and then I went round. I've used this stuff here, which is so lovely to use. This is the VMS liquid mask, again available from Premium Hobbies. It's so lovely. I was going to film it. I've got it here on the bottom of a bottle, a paint jar, and yeah, it's gone off. But you just kind of put it on the cocktail stick and just push it around, and it kind of runs on the surface, and then when it hits the edge where that rubber seal is around the edge of the window, it just stops there. It's brilliant. So really pleased with that. Somebody also told me that this here is an emergency hatch. I don't think it is. This is. I don't think that is. So because the seats are in the way. So I don't think that is an emergency hatch. I don't know why they'd have an emergency hatch there when there's a door there and a door there. So maybe I'm wrong. It wouldn't be the first time, and it certainly won't be the last. Okay, so that's all that done. So we're ready to start getting some primer on this, I think. So looking at the rest of the build, we have our tail rotor here. So basically we're going to glue D9 and D5 together. So I've got D9 here. One of these was actually broken on the sprue. My D sprue has had a bit of a beating actually, I think. Probably in the factory, because there's a couple of parts broken on there, and something that Airfix might want to look at with their quality control. Have a chat with the people over in India, but I can't imagine it's happened in the box, because the box is so beautifully made and so rigid. So this piece here, as you can see, it's got long legs and short legs. So obviously the long legs are going to go into the 3 blades behind, and then the short legs go in the 3 at the front. So I'm just going to drop this onto here like so, and then with a drop of extra thin, I'm just going to put a drop on there. I'm just going to glue one point. You can hear that lawnmower outside. That is a lady whose garden is tiny. She does it like every 3rd day of the week, I think. And this is not going well. There we go. So just going to swivel this around. There we go. Pick up those points there, and there we go. and it's quite fiddly, that little bit. If you notice, I'm not pre-painting any of this because it's so much easier to paint it when it's all together. I want to make sure I've got every single one of these prongs glued on because I don't want to catch on anything and get broken off. That was the broken rotor. You can see there the stress mark. It was actually bent in the kit, in the sprue. And my the supports for the, where is the sprue? Is it here? Yeah, one of the supports here for the winch was actually broken as well. I've tried to repair it on the sprue, but it's impossible. So yeah, that sprue took a bit of a beating, I think. So that's our tail rotor built up. So that will basically sit on the tail when it's ready to go on. So that's that. So we can go all the way down to here now. And now we can start looking at the main rotor. And the main rotor head, again, they're asking you to paint these individual bits. I'm going to do it all together because I don't want to, I've got all the parts off the sprue ready to go, except, he says, except for these. So what I'm going to do, there's our main rotor there, all cleaned up, all denibbed, all de-seamed and everything. I've also made this winch, very clever design, got the cable and everything in there with the hook, and it just simply presses in underneath and then drop a glue on the outside and that's it, job done. So I'm going to go away and get all these off the sprue and get them cleaned up, and then we'll go on and assemble our rotor head. Okay, so I have the rotor head, all its parts and everything here. I've also got some bits over here which I haven't got out yet. Sorry, Mr. Unprepared as per usual. So let's I've got this cap that goes on the top. You can see this cap here that goes on the top. I'm not going to fit that yet because it's going to impede my painting, so we'll put that on after it's all painted. So if we look at the instructions, we've got these parts here, D1 going on to D12, and they're going to go on, and it's not 100% clear in the instructions, but it is quite clear when you look at it that you've got these little parts here, D1. They have a semicircular cutout in one side, you can see there, and on the back side it's just a round dish, a round pin should I say. So they are going to go, the round pin's going to go into here, into there, like that, and the flat is going to sit on top of there. So I am going to put a drop of extra thin on top of there, and I should be able to place this on just like so. So it sort of sits in it. I'll show you close up now so you can see how it goes, just in case you're fairly new to the hobby and it's a bit overwhelming for you. So that's, you can see there how it goes. You can see here before it goes in, you've got this semicircular shelf, and then you've got a little radius area here for the part to sit in. So we'll do another one. So I'm going to grab this in the tweezers like so, and then just come along to there and plonk that on like that. Drop of extra thin in there, and that's that done. So I've got another 4 to do, or another 3 to do, another 4 to do. So another 3 to do. There's 5 rotors, isn't it? So if I let's just keep the camera going and just keep going, just stay live in it. So I think this is going to be for the build part. This is going to be pretty much it, and then we're on to painting. So it's all coming together nicely. For 48 scale, this is superbly detailed. Very nice indeed. And then finally, this last one. That's going to go in like that. There we go. There we are, so that's that done. Right, so next step is this D14 onto D4, so this is obviously the main shaft, and this is going to go on that way with the toothed bit pointing upwards. So that's going to go on there, I'm guessing. And then I'm guessing that is going to sit on top of there. So maybe that's not supposed to be glued on. I think I'll leave that glued on. I don't need to be able to spin the rotors, but that's got like a taper on it. It's almost like a Morse taper. So that'll sit in there and locate. I have a feeling that maybe this is not supposed to be glued on, and then when you fit this cap, it's going to sort of sandwich everything in. But, so that's going to go on there like that. That's quite a tight fit on there as well. And then this piece here is going to go down over onto those pins. So we'll get some extra thin in there. And then next is going to be these parts here, D2, and these are going to go on the side there, and the bottom end is going to fall into those holes in there. So what I'm going to try and do is put some extra thin in there and see if it's going to stick. There we go. There we are. That's lovely. There we go. I'll turn the camera off, I'll get this done, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's all glued together and dry. And there we are. Very, very nice little rotor head there. So no doubt the aftermarket will come out with something which is mega detailed. The next thing they're telling us to glue this cap on. I'm not going to do that yet, because obviously if I fit that cap, then getting in and painting under there is going to be difficult. So I'm not going to fit that cap on, so that can go on after. Then coming over the page, this is talking about now building up the folded rotor head, which you've got all the parts for if you want to use it. And then here for B, C and D we're going to use D8. So you've got the blades here with the cutouts, and these blades have the angle, so this is the ones I've got. So I'm going to get all these glued together now, because I want this to be set and absolutely solid when I come to paint it. So what we're going to do is put that in there like so, and you can see this has a recess in it that's going to fit into there. So what I'm going to do here is put some cement in there, and then plonk that together, and get a peg on it. I'm just using a reverse wooden peg because it's the first thing I picked up. There's no particular reason for it. So I think it would be easier to put the glue on here. That's going into that recess there. Okay, what I'm going to do is run some extra thin into that joint I'm just hoping these rotors are going to be strong enough to stay. Mind you, saying that, when I was at the Avon show, I was talking to Luke, and he got this instruction manual. It's quite a hefty book, you know, it's quite a few pages, and he actually dropped this on one of the display models. They didn't break the rotor blade. I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought for sure it would have broken it, or at least broken the undercarriage or something, but nothing on the model broke, it just took it. Can I please have some glue on the bloody brush? There we go, right. That's going to slot into there. Just grab a peg, it's a bulldog clip. Should we go for 5 different types of clamping methods on here? Go. Just grab a peg, peg that, and then the final one. And there we go, that is our rotor head and blades all done. So we can see it's all looking good, looking very, very nice. So we can put it on top of our Sea King, like so. So you can see there we are now starting to get something that's actually starting to look like a Sea King. And we can get our tail rotor, just pop that one on, just like so. So there you can see we're starting to get an actual finished looking model on the bench now. So there we go. So I'm going to call that a day there. I'm going to let all this dry obviously for a long time, and then hopefully it's going to be all nice and strong and solid and welded up. And there we go. So yeah, we'll call that a day, and I will see you next time. And I think next time we're going to be getting on with some painting. I think in the meantime I'll get this door painted silver, and then that'll be ready for hairspray chipping. We can wear away the steps and stuff, and then I think we're into making sure everything's masked, primed. We've got to get all those little greeblies on from back here, from back in step 156, and then I think we can start looking at the priming and painting stages. So we will be looking very carefully at how we what on earth is that? It looks like I've dripped. Looks like a whole drip of extra thin down there. But you can see, although you can see a shiny line there, if I take this sponge, you can see it's done no dirt damage at all. I don't know where that's come from. Maybe you saw me do that earlier in the video or on another part. I don't remember doing that. That's probably overzealous trying to get glue onto that brush. But, there we go, that one even, I'm lucky it's underneath, it's not on the side. Wow, there we go, right. So I will see you all for part, what will it be, part 11? Was this been part 10, I think? This is part 11, baby, I can't remember now. We'll have to look back. And I'll see you all for that next part anyway. And thank you for watching, thank you for staying tuned. Any questions, pop them down below. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that square and subscribe. And as I say, any comments, any questions, just stick them down below. I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.